All right, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about why the DSA is unsustainable as a large tent organization, and why the Democratic Party will probably no longer exist after this next election cycle. So here's why the DSA is an unsustainable organization in its current form. You have to understand that the DSA is a large tent organization with multiple and conflicting ideologies. Now, what do I mean when I say multiple conflicting ideologies? Like individual members of the DSA have ideologies that are opposites of each other. So there are some genuine socialists in the DSA, but that's just a few people. A lot of the people in the DSA are social democrats and Trotskyists, and they're actually not socialists. They just call themselves socialists for publicity. Now, what do I mean when I say Trotskyists or social democrats? Social democrat is the ideology of Bernie Sanders. It calls for New Deal liberalism, so liberal capitalist reform at home, but imperialism overseas. Okay. And Trotskyism is imperialism. So it's basically the State Department textbook, playbook of funding right-wing extremist groups overseas, whether it be the Guarimbas or al-Nusra. So that's what Trotskyists believe in. I am a socialist. I am anti-imperialist. And I believe in workers controlling the means of production. So that's where I'm coming from. Okay. So that's basically the rundown on the two ideologies. Now, these ideologies, so you have Trotskyists, you have social democrats, and you have socialists in the DSA, okay? So you have three different ideologies all competing with each other. Okay, so in the end, it's inherently going to be unsustainable, because I know a lot of the Bernie folks are either Trotskyists or social democrats, and they're not going to want to come to their senses on foreign policy. They're not going to want to realize that imperialism is bad. They're just going to want to sell out to Bernie and sell out to J Street, who pretty much funds Bernie and funds all his campaign. And then you have the Democratic Party, which is funded and controlled by J Street and AIPAC, as well as JVP to a certain extent, and if not now, to a certain extent. So it's funded and controlled by the Zionist lobby. And what you got with the Democrats is a bunch of it's a plantation party. A lot of people I know have called it the plantation party, or the Democratic plantation. I know Ajay Baraka, T West, people like that have called it the plantation party, and I agreed. I mean, I used to be a Democrat until June of 2018, and then I quit the Democratic Party because of how right-wing they were on foreign policy. And because they're a capitalist party. But you could see, like, the Democratic Party with the direction they're going in of being funded by J Street, AIPAC, and if not now, and JVP to a certain extent, they're not going to be around for after the next election cycle. That's my prediction. They're not going to be around because they're going against the will of the voters, and against the will of actual socialists. And the way to make any changes in this country is through direct action. Electoral politics is not gonna save us, because you have the Democrats who are funded by the Zionist lobby, by J Street, predominantly, as well as AIPAC, and if not now, in JVP. And then you have the Republicans, who are also funded by the Zionist lobby, predominantly AIPAC, as well as some people funded by J Street, and TIP, and the ADC and ADL. So you have right-wing Zionists, conservative Zionists, and liberal Zionists. So you have no one who's actually sane, no one who actually has their mind right, is gonna want to vote for either party. And what does that do? That's gonna create a lot of energy for grassroots action. And I mean, up here in Alaska, we don't have a lot of this energy yet, but I think when people get their eyes open, it's gonna start to develop. I know there's a lot of energy, like in places like Chicago, Detroit, Seattle, to a certain extent, Portland. I know Olivia, the only DSA chapter that I actually have any confidence in is the Portland DSA chapter, and that's just because their president is Olivia Ketby. Shout out to Olivia Ketby, but also in other places like the Bay Area, and Pittsburgh. I think there's going to be a lot of energy in parts of New Jersey too, like Patterson. There's going to be a lot of energy and a lot of rallying against the two-party system and the two capitalist, racist war parties that are funded by and controlled by the Zionists. So let's hope the leftists, real leftists, not these fake ISO, DSA leftists. And ISO is a whole nother can of worms. We want to talk about Trotskyism. It's time for the real leftists, the ones that want the people to control the means of production, to demonstrate against this two-party system and do direct action instead of electoral politics. But ultimately, the DSA is unsustainable because it's a big tent platform with a lot of conflicting ideologies, and the Democrats are unsustainable because they're funded and controlled by the Zionists, and they're ultimately a capitalist, racist, white supremacist Zionist war party. So that's my thesis statement, and I've been proved right. I have a lot of evidence to back up my thesis statement, and I'll do another video on that shortly here. But if you liked watching this video, I recommend you subscribe, turn on post notifications, click the like button, and share the video on Twitter. And thanks for watching, and have a great day. Peace.